What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I am back. Sam here, back with Gab. We say hi, boys.
Welcome back, Sam.
Yeah,
Hello.
welcome back,
Salamat.
Summer.
Salamat. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I missed last week, but I am back and I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about today. So, we're going back to something that we discussed 2 weeks ago, which was looking at the recruits of each UAAP team for season 86 and a little bit of season 87. Last time we talked about UP, we talked about FEU, and which was the other one? UE, I think we talked about UE.
UE.
This time, we're going to talk about three new teams. So, we're going to talk about three teams again. Tell us, Gab, sino yung teams na pag-uusapan natin today?
Siyempre, Ateneo. Let's go. Homers. Let's go.
Homer!
Boomers.
Tapos,
Bias.
and we're gonna go to NU and Adamson.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Ateneo, NU, and Adamson. And it's interesting today because those three teams are Final Four contenders or were Final Four teams from the last season. So let's see how they're going to improve this coming season where they're new recruits. Um, again, before we get into each recruit, nakikita nyo na siya sa ticker late sa baba. Let me just warn everyone na we're talking about the recruits today, April 26. I'm not sure if they'll get additional recruits when the time comes until season 86. Mahaba-haba pang panahon. Marami ba silang pwede ma-recruit na players? So, we're looking at the players that they have right now. This could be an outdated podcast or discussion a month from now. Who knows, diba? So, for now, Maui, give us a quick recap of all the recruits of Ateneo, Adamson, and NU.
Okay, so medyo marami Ateneo. So let's start with NU. NU is recruiting Bobby Mark Parks. He's the brother of Bobby Ray Parks, the former UAP MVP. He played in the United States, NGCAA Division 2. Next is Reinhard Jumamoy. You might have heard of him. He was the UAP Juniors MVP this past season. And next, Leonard Santiago, UCPBL MVP. LA Cancinillo, and Kenshin Padrones. For Adamson, we have one sole recruit, Eli Ramos, the brother of Dwight Ramos, the player Ateneo should have had. NU Adamson has focused, in my opinion, Adamson has focused on recruiting for its juniors division. They already have two Phil Kiwi players that they recruited. We'll see if they go to the seniors. They're Andre Bautista and Jiri Tumamning. Next up, we have Ateneo. They recruited the whole team. It's crazy. It's like UP. They got Jared Brown, also a Phil with 2 years, two playing years. They got Andrew Bomo back. He was playing for Ateneo sa Summer League games before, if you saw him before. They got Albert Opeña Jr. from Canada, a Phil Canadian who has 4 playing years. They got Kyle Gambler, also a Phil who played for the under-18 team. They got Mason Amos, my favorite, also a Phil Kiwi, teammate of Kyle Gambler in the under-18. They got Sean Jackson, who is being dubbed as a small Jaime Malonzo. He has 3 years,
What a
three
joke.
years, 3 playing years, but he's already 23 years old. So I don't know if he's gonna play 3 years. We have Sean Tuano, who looks like Jordi GDL, another recruit of Ateneo, but possibly for season 87. And we have Kobe Demisana from UP. This is Ateneo's payback for them getting LeBron Lopez and Jared Bahay. And finally, we have LeBron Nieto from the Ateneo Juniors and two teammates of Jared Bahay from Ateneo Sacred Heart Cebu, Rafi Celis and Michael Asoro. So Ateneo recruited 13 new players. So let's see. Tab Baldwin said nung press conference niya nung end ng finals, every player will have to fight for their spot. And we see Ateneo recruiting 13 new players.
Isang
That's
buong
it.
team.
Isang
Isang
buong
buong
team.
team. Basically, yung re-recruit ng Ateneo.
Crazy.
So, itong Ateneo at UP, wala, recruit lang ng recruit eh. Walang tigil. So, I want to jump off that discussion point, no? I missed out last week's discussion. You guys talked about James Spencer. deciding not to push through with his final year with UP. Itong Ateneo, you just mentioned it, Maui. They recruited an entire team, di ba? And yet, marami pa rin from the players last year are still there. And there are still players that have been part of the Ateneo team that have not yet played or will come back. Case in point, Jason Crido, si Espinosa was there watching the team, but he wasn't really a part of the team. So, my question is, who do you think is at risk of losing or missing out on making the team this coming season? So, or who do you think would end up maybe deciding to go elsewhere? Similar to, let's say, sa UP, what's si Bismarck Lina. So, sino sa tingin nyo yung mawawala ng spot or baka will just decide to leave? Or if you wanna go the direction of he will maybe make the roster but mawawalan siya ng minutes significantly. So, you could go different ways, but basically, sino ang mawawalan ng spot or ng playing time? Because there's just too many players to choose from and to play. And you only have 15 roster spots. Tama ba? 15 or something like that. Gab, you wanna go ahead?
So I am gonna go with Ateneo.
Sorry,
obvious
this
choice.
is a question for Ateneo. This is a question for Ateneo. So we're just talking about Ateneo with this question.
All right. So before I go to my answer, I just wanna add something to our list. I just noticed it now. We didn't put Joseph Obasa
on our
list.
That's
Obasa.
true. That's
Joseph
true.
Obasa.
Joseph Obasa. So it really is a whole team kasi now my center na yung
Tama. Siguro just to add to this question, siguro let's not give like the obvious answers. Let's say yung mga bangko from last season na hindi man nakakalaro, most probably matatanggal sila. But who's like someone was expecting to play or whatever but might not get
so
the
just to
minutes
clarify, Sam, your question pertains to someone on the team last season, or
you could go that angle. You could go that angle, or it could be someone na hindi pa naglalaro or hindi pa part of the team is expecting to be part of this season, but dude, sobrang dami na, di ba? So you could go that way. So parang could it be like a Bismarck Lina na expecting to play, biglang na-recruit si Pablo at si Gagate. So, oy, alis na ako dito. Or maybe someone that was already part of the team was playing but they're gonna get limited minutes this coming season.
I'm gonna go with a very high-profile recruit, Kobe De Mesana. I think is someone you have to look at and see na I don't think he's gonna make or the final roster for Ateneo. I did watch him in the UAAP juniors. He was spectacular, but mostly because he was blocking shots of players smaller than him. He still has a very limited offensive game, although he does have some skills. So I sort of see him like a project for Coach Tab. I don't see him, if ever he makes the final roster, I don't think he's gonna play that much. There are a lot of big men in the on top of him in the pecking order. Obviously, you gotta start with Obasa, who I just mentioned, and Kai Balungay, I assume is still gonna be the starter. Then behind Balungay and Obasa, there's Gio Chu is still there. I assume he's still the backup center. Despite our constant frustration with him, he's still our backup center, Sam. You can't hate on Gio Chu that much. He's still our backup center. Mason Amos is probably going to play this power forward position right behind Kai Balungay, or be probably even ahead of Kai Balungay. We don't know yet how Tab is going to go there. Josh Lazaro is still there. Sam, despite your frustrations with Josh Lazaro, he's still gonna
Yo,
play.
He will be there.
I
He will be there. I
I
think.
Yes,
love
I'm
Josh
sure.
Lazaro.
He
Just to
will
be
be
clear,
there. I'm
I
sure.
love Josh Lazaro. Na-frustrate ako kasi hindi na-shoot yung mga tira niya. But
Uh,
I love
yeah,
him.
yeah, but he's still gonna play. He's still a Tab Baldwin guy, diba? Coach Tab loves him. And then we saw Kyle Ong show some flashes, show some improvement in his game. I think he's gonna make the roster. So I think Kobe De Misana will have to sit out a year, whether it's at the end of the bench or even not making the roster. I don't think he's gonna play a big role for the upcoming season. Right, Maui.
Maui.
Yeah. Me, honestly, it's very hard to predict what will happen to Ateneo with their 13 recruits. But Gab mentioned a few names that will definitely make the lineup. I believe that Padregao, Balungay, Obasa, Kun, Lazaro, Gomez, and Gio Chu are probably shoe-ins, plus Mason Amos. Outside of them, I really don't know who will make the lineup. I am pretty high on Andrew Bongo because I watched him nung preseason. He was able to match up very well with European players nung naglaro yung Ateneo sa European Classic nila. But yeah, if I were to pick a name probably from the list that wouldn't make the cut, it's probably gonna be LeBron Nieto. I see him developing
Wow.
one more year sa
Wow.
juniors.
Okay.
He played really good nung juniors division, but the Ateneo juniors for the first time, and I think the Final Four history, missed the playoffs. He played well along with Chris Porter, the brother of the elder Porter, also from Ateneo. But I think with the logjam in the guard position, especially with Padrigao and Gomez, Kun and probably Paul Garcia, Jared Brown also have limited playing years. Sean Jackson, um, and also Kyle Gambler. He'll have to battle it out with Kyle Gambler. So I probably, if I were to choose, I'd probably choose LeBron Nieto right now. But I see a very bright future for him. And I also think that Michael Asoro, I mentioned this to Gab kanina off air. I think Michael Asoro can be developed into a BJ Andrade type of player in the future. So let's see. It's 13 players. I think Ateneo has 7 or 8 slots available. Let's see who makes the final cut.
Okay.
Isa lang yung ibig sabihin nito, more championships for Team Glory B.
may Team Glory B pa ba?
Meron!
Meron.
Pa rin.
Yeah.
Meron pa rin.
Team Glory B's alive.
So, nabalik na rin. Okay, sige. So, wow, hindi ko in-expect yun LeBron Nieto ang pinili mo. But, you made a really good point. No? Siyempre, ang dami din talagang cards. Even like, from the existing lineup, I think, yun nga, Padrigao and Gomez are sure things. You have like a bunch from the recruits. Actually, sa akin, I'm gonna have to go with a big na-mention na ni Gab. For me, it's going to be si Kyle, nakalimutan ko na name. Kyle Ong. It's gonna be officially his third year na ba? Or
Third.
no, 80,
Yeah,
third,
third.
di ba? He spent 2 years sitting on the bench as this like, may kita mo na lang, sino yung kasing tangkad ni Gio Chu na payatot? Ganyan. But just like, I remember Gio Chu when he was a rookie, sobrang naboboli siya ng mga bigs ng kalaban. Like, in the limited minutes that he played last season, talagang tumba siya lagi or nabubungku siya. And now you're gonna get like, let's say, you're gonna add Mason Amos to the team. You still have Gio Chu. You have Obasa. And you have like a bunch of like really long athletic like wing or forwards to the team. I really like Celis.
Yeah.
You mentioned Gab. We still have kalimutan ko na yung name. Lazaro. Credo.
Kinalimutan mo talaga.
Come back. Credo might come
Yeah.
back.
I think Credo will have a big chance.
There's no might
Credo,
come back,
Credo.
Sam. He will be back.
He will be back.
Jason.
So, I'm sorry, Kyle Ong, but like, kahit na tantalizing yung height mo, I'm just not sure you're gonna get the minutes. If you ever you do make the team, he does make the team. I think he's just gonna ride the bench again. Play very limited minutes. Yeah, that's my pick. Demisana, I'm not sure. Maybe long term, Demisana might be better than Kyle Ong, but maybe not now.
Oh,
Tama
he.
naman si
Oh,
Gab, bro.
He's
I
Raw
think
si
he
definitely,
will
Demisana
he's
be.
right now.
definitely, yeah, he will
Yeah.
be.
I
Mas
think
may
he will
hype
be
din eh,
definitely
no?
better.
Yeah,
But
tsaka, sorry, just to add to Sam's point, I think I agree also that Kyle Ong is in danger of not making the final cut. And it's really because of what I heard from Coach Tab. I think in one
Mm.
presser, Ateneo wants
Okay.
to play fast. So Ateneo did not recruit many big man. They only recruited, I think, Mason Amos and si Obasas coming in. But if you look at Ateneo's lineup, it's my dream lineup. They're gonna play multiple wing
Yes.
players who can play multiple positions, defend multiple positions. Ateneo's gonna play sort of like a positionless basketball, fast-paced. So let's see next year.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Alam mo, alam mo, I have a feeling na even si Gio Chu, he will get less minutes than last season. Um, just yun lang iniisip ko. Cause like you already have Obasa, Amos, and ano eh,
Balungay for
and
the front court.
Balungay eh,
You
'di
have to
ba?
make minutes for all three of them, definitely.
Yeah, so I feel like sa totoo lang, he was kinda unplayable in a lot of games last season eh, si Gio Chu. He was better, I think, in the previous season. So, I'm also worried about him, but he's a vet. Tab trusts him, I think. So, he'll get spot minutes. He'll get like parang specialist. Certain situations he will play, but I feel like he will get limited minutes or less minutes than before. But yeah, good point, Maui. Sige. So, we talked about Ateneo. Now, let's talk about Adamson and NU. And, sakto na sila yung na-pair, no? Kasi, merong dalawang matunog na names dun sa team na yon, 'di ba? Ramos and Parks. We all know Eli Ramos is the younger brother of Dwight. Bobby Mark Parks is the younger brother of Bobby Ray. So the question is, which brother is gonna have a better season? Eli or Bobby Mark?
What the hell of a question is that?
Which brother? Sino ang mas magaling? At least this season. Prediction lang.
Yeah.
Alam kong wala tayong masyadong napapanood sa kanila. So, para naman nakafocus tayo sa Adamson and NU.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you were to ask
Maui.
me, I'd probably choose Bobby Mark Parks just because
Bakit?
Adamson has a very solid backcourt which Eli Ramos will have to really fight to get into. We all know that Jerome Lastimosa is coming back. Joshua Yero is still there. EJ Sabandal is there. He was ready. I think they were already prepping him to take over the starting role. And now he has to come off the bench again because Jerome Lastimosa went back. So honestly, I don't know. The backcourt of Adamson is really packed. They also have sila Manlapas who will play shooting guard and other players. The team is very intact. But honestly, I'm not sure kasi you can make the same argument for NU. NU is coming in as an intact team. Most of their players are coming back. I think si John Lloyd Clemente is coming back. So I don't know if Bobby Mark Parks can make his mark this coming season. So let's see. That's what I think.
Okay. Gab.
I'm gonna answer this by not answering it. None of those players will make an impact at all. Are you kidding me? Ang tanong yan.
Bakit? Si
Hindi,
Bobby Ray,
wait.
instant impact.
Hindi. Oh yeah, but Bobby Mark Parks, from what I saw in limited minutes in the ball out sports, he
Naglaro ba
doesn't
siya
have.
doon?
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Hindi ko nga alam
He
eh. Hindi
played,
ko na...
but in the final four and in the finals, he didn't get to play. And this was in the preseason. He wasn't part of the rotation. Uh, and in his limited minutes, he didn't actually have a big of an impact. And he plays the wing position. And we all know that NU is rich in wings. They have so many wings. That's their strength. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna touch the floor that much. Same with Eli. But Siguro if I had to pick one, perhaps getting more minutes, yun lang not impact, but just getting more minutes, I would go with Eli. I think he has some skills that might be needed by Adamson given their three guard setup that Coach Nash used in the second round and in the Final Four last year with Hierro, Sabandal, and Lastimosa. So they're pretty small, but they also have other wings like Haimalin, Flowers, AP Manlapas coming off the bench. But if Eli can give some more shooting and perhaps some defensive versatility, I think he can get some uh, maybe 9 to 10 minutes a game of solid defensive minutes for Adamson. If I were to pick one of the two, it'd probably be Eli. But none of them are gonna make such an impact in this coming season. I really don't think so.
We'll see. Baka
We'll
ihin
see.
natin yung mga sinabi natin.
Oo nga, oo nga. To answer the question, this stupid question, but like, kailangan natin ng question for Adamson and NU. But I'm gonna go with Eli also. I think long term, baka si Bobby Mark, lefty, mas malaki siya, seems athletic. Maybe long term, he'll have like a better impact sa team niya. I just, but alam mo bakit Eli yung pinili ko? Inisip ko lang tagal-tagal na niyang nasa UAAP, nasa college. Sana naman may impact na siya kasi I'm sure gusto na niyang makatapos or makagraduate or like mag-pro or mag-move on. So I'm kinda hoping that, wishing that he would, finally get the playing time. Kasi
Let's just say I think there was a reason why yung
he
matagal na
left
siya nasa
Ateneo.
UAP circuit.
I
There
know.
was a reason.
But I'm hoping for the best for Eli. May nakita akong video online interview of him na they were in some random league and then he was part of the Mythical Five kasama yung like NU, a few other UAP teams. I don't know what competition, what league that is. Baka other people might know. Maybe that's a boost of confidence for Eli. We'll see. I don't know kung anong team yung sino yung mga players from the team, but he was there. So just wanted to point that out. Okay. Next question. Feel ko alam ko na sagot ni Maui dito But overall, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact as a rookie or as a new recruit? Sa lahat ng teams, not just Adamson, NU or like Ateneo, but I'm sure Ateneo or NU lang pipiliin natin dito. Gab.
All right, so I'm not gonna go with an Atenean here. I'm actually gonna go with someone from NU. Because I know Maui's going to Ateneo. I'm sure of it. So I'm gonna go with someone from NU. And I've become a big fan of this guy, Reinhard Humamoy from the NU Bullpups, who's now coming up to the seniors. I was pretty impressed by him in the Final Four, in the finals, which I got to watch. I said this right before we came on air. In terms of the Cebuano guards coming out of high school, there's him and Jared Bahay. I'm leaning towards Humamoy a little bit now. I think he has more of a better all-around game.
Bitter.
I'm just saying, I watched him. I was pretty impressed. Defensively solid. He's a pest on defense. Incredible. Offense, again, all around. He's a rebounding guard. He's racked up triple doubles in the Final Four and almost a triple double in the finals in the UAAP Juniors. In the recently concluded UAAP Juniors competition. And the reason why I have him as the most impactful player is because he addresses a big need for NU. If any of you guys watched the Final Four in season 85 and even the finals in the Ball Out Sports competition.
Yeah.
A month ago, it's pretty apparent what NU's weakness is. It's offensive creation and playmaking. They don't have anyone to do it aside from Kian Baclaan. And to an extent, Steve Nash Enriquez, which is why Jeff Napa is forced sometimes to put up a very small backcourt of Kian and Steve Nash together because no one can create for them offensively. I think, di ba, yung final
I think
play in the Final Four against UP, it was Kian Baclan trying to do everything, and then finally he lost the ball because he was just trying to come off as many screens that Omar John could you could give him just to get a shot, and no one else could create offense for them. Same thing happened sa ball out sports. In the fourth quarter when they were getting blown out by UP, it was because UP's defense intensified, and Kiad Baklaan was just trying to get up as many shots as possible, just trying to create any offense possible. Defensively, NU is solid. Sobrang solid ng NU on defense. Switchable. They have a defensive anchor in Omar John, but offensively, they're just so stale. Especially when it comes to the fourth quarter, when teams clamp down on them on defense. Correct. They can't generate enough offense. And that's, I think, where Humamoy can shine. He's an offensive creator. He has a great handle. He has shooting. He can penetrate. Drive and kick game is awesome. I think you could see him play alongside Baklaan in crunch time and even surpass Steve Nash as one of the lead guards. Because Steve Nash is very limited in terms of scoring and shot creation. He can play make for other teammates, but in terms of getting his own shot, he's a bit limited there. I think Humamwe can easily surpass Steve Nash, and I'm a big fan of Steve Nash. We all know this. But I think Humamwe can definitely surpass Steve Nash in the pecking order, and put me down as Reinhard Humamwe being one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year this upcoming season. Of the Year. I think he's gonna have a big season. I really do. I'm so impressed by this guy.
Do you think Humamoy will surpass Baklaan eventually?
Yes. Mainly because in terms of playmaking, I think he's better than Kian Baklaan. In terms of playmaking, scoring, I don't think so. I think Kian still has the edge there. He's a pretty good scorer. From all three levels, in the perimeter, mid-range, and going to the basket, I think Kian has the edge there. But in terms of playmaking and defensive tenacity, just being a pest on defense, I think Humamoy has the edge. I think he's a future star, Reinhard Humamoy. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree Maui. Also. I think yung versatility ni Humamoy will really get him minutes this coming season. Gab mentioned nga yung lack of playmakers ng NU. And yes, I think also he might be part of probably the favorites for Rookie of the Year, but I think the Rookie of the Year race is locked. To be honest, this is a homer pick. You guys know me. I've been going on and on and on and on for the past few months. Ateneo got the best recruit for season 86-87. It has to be Mason Amos. And just to prove it, he got in sa national team natin, seniors team, yung Gilas team that he got in and he had instant impact. And I think with Ateneo, he will definitely have instant impact, and he is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year for next year. What's interesting to me with Mason Amos is how Coach Tab will play him with Balungay. Right now, I think that they both are suited to play the power forward slot only. Both of them don't have the mobility to be able to guard other wing players, small forward players. And I think Ateneo will be punished if they both play the front court minutes as power forward and center. But Mason Amos will do his damage even in 20 minutes of playing time. So he is my favorite for Rookie of the Year next year. Definitely.
Okay, I was gonna ask actually, parang can you imagine Amos and Balungay playing together? Kasi para sa akin parang mahirap defensively, medyo alanganin. That's what I'm worried about. But I agree with both of you. I think those are the two clear top picks for potential Rookie of the Year. So to to be honest, either of them, hindi ko pa lang masyado napapanood si Jumamoy. Hindi ko nga alam paano
Oh, you should
i-pronounce
watch
name
him,
niya.
Sam. You should watch
Hindi
him.
ko, I
Electric
think
siya,
I should.
electric.
Yun nga. So,
Grabe.
but I see the stats, no? So, I think either of those two are good picks. Sige, so let's move on to the other side. Who do you think is the most overrated sa mga recruits na to? So, maybe not bust. Not necessarily bust, di ba? Last time we talked about busts. But let's talk about overrated or overhyped. Na, just to give you an example. Paul Garcia from last year, I think we can say na when we watched him during the World Championship, dude was leading the team in scoring. So we were expecting a lot from him, but he was out like Gab Gomez ended up getting more minutes than Paul Garcia in season 86. So who do you think is a bit overhyped as of right now and might disappoint some people come season 86?
Yeah, if I were to pick an overhyped prospect right now, very flashy stats, but Gab mentioned him as a player that he probably wouldn't make it sa team next year ng Ateneo. I think I have to pick Kobe Damisana. Not because he lacks skills, but I think he's very raw. He can be a future power forward, hopefully not a center for Ateneo. But yeah, I think we will see Ateneo's prowess in terms of like developing these big players. But I think the hype surrounding him during this past season, especially since he was dominating nung UAP juniors, it has to be Kobe Demisana for me this coming season. And I think just like Gab, there's a very big chance that he will not be part of Ateneo's team this coming season. Yeah. How about you, Gab?
Gab.
Ako, I'm going against Ateneo because ang dami lang players. Kyle Gamber. It's not Gambler, sorry, in the ticker. It's Kyle Gamber.
Sorry.
Oh, so it's Kyle Gamber. So we all saw him in the under 18 team. He wasn't as impressive as the other guards in that team. He has height. He was very much hyped, no, when he was recruited, mainly because he had prospective Division 1 offers from the NCAA, but he chose to come here, so everyone was like, "Oh, I think we got a gem. I think he could be good." He made Gilas. However, just looking at the depth chart again in this Ateneo team, how the hell is he gonna play? There is not enough minutes. Again, same thing with UP. So for those our UP subscribers who keep on telling us that we hate UP, now I'm hating on Ateneo. Oh, yan So just saying na how is Kyle Gamber gonna play in this team? Just look at the point guard depth. There's Fortsky and Gab Gomez. We already saw them that they were the rotation this past season. You probably think you gotta get some Paul Garcia minutes there, or maybe some at the 2. But again, there's the comeback in Jason Credo, who I think is gonna start. Honestly, I think he's gonna start play that BJ Andrade role. That BJ Andrade left behind. Sean Kiteves is there, defensive specialist. I think he's earned this playing time. Chris Kuhn is gonna be there in the wing. I'm missing someone. Sean Toanyo, I think he's gonna make it. He's lengthy. He's a wing. He's a wing player. So I don't know exactly how you're gonna get enough minutes again for all of these players. And Jared Brown, he's been waiting in the wing since season 86. He's an older player. He has 2 years left. So I think they're gonna be prioritized more over Kyle Gamber. I think Kyle Gamber won't see as much playing time again, despite all the hype around him, despite his length. I don't think you're gonna see much of Cal Gamber this season.
Wow. So, Maui, sabi mo, Lebron Nieto might not make it to the lineup. Gab, sabi mo, Kyle Gamber. Those are the two top guard recruits supposedly of Ateneo. And we're saying they're not gonna make it in season 86. Ganun ka deep yung recruitment or yung team ng Ateneo. But good points, both of you. I know you guys have been worried about Kyle Gamber from before. Kobe, Gab mentioned it already. Medyo ropa. I think those two are really the top picks. Pero para lang may mapili akong iba, talk about overhype, I'm gonna go with Sean Jackson. Just because, just because
Yeah.
people decided to call him like a mini Jamie Malonzo. Grabe naman yung pressure. Mini Jamie Malonzo. I mean, Jamie Malonzo is a lot better now versus like when he was in Lasal. But he was still good. And he was like 6'7", diba? 6'7", high-flying forward for Lasal. So, medyo mahirap naman pag describe mo yung player as a mini Jamie Malonzo. So, I'll go with Sean Jackson just para lang may iba akong masabi.
It's
Okay.
hard to judge din si Sean Jackson, no? Because a lot of his highlights are mostly just him training and jumping high. There is much game highlights.
Wala pa eh, no?
Parang, or any game footage, nothing. Just it's him dunking the ball, being athletic. But you can't judge it
Dunks.
based on athleticism on, short clips.
I think ganun talaga. Lalo na pag wala pang hindi pa sila nakakalaro, no. Puro ganun lang yung highlights nila. Okay, before we end, medyo overtime na tayo, but before we end, just one last question. Who do you think is going to be the biggest surprise, or maybe like a favorite player, a player that you really love that's super underrated?
Yeah. It's really
Sorry,
hard to.
before
Sige,
you start Maui, before you start sorry, sino na ba? Gab, before you start Gab. Apologies everyone. I think this is all gonna be Ateneo kasi wala masyadong recruits yung other teams. So,
Yeah,
just
it's
saying.
13 players. It's crazy.
No,
Go, Gab.
actually, Sam, I was gonna answer underrated. I think NU in general, NU. Kasi
Okay, bakit?
so I talked about Reinhard Humamoy. I think he's the cream of the crop in this batch of recruits for NU. But in general, underrated. We've all throughout since December, since the UAAP season 85 ended, all the focus has been on the recruits of UST, LaSalle, UP, Ateneo. All of the highlight, all of the spotlight is on those four schools. I'm including UST because they've recruited so much talent. But NU, I think, has done something really smart. They've recruited for need because they already have an intact team. They were battling for a top 2 slot last season. They essentially have the same roster, but they've recruited for need. I talked about Humamoy and how he addresses their need for offensive creation and playmaking. But their other recruits are also addressing that need. Maui didn't mention him in the start, but they got a recruit from LaSalle, Don Lim. He played a lot of backup guard minutes in the Ball Out Sports League. And I like what he does. He can shoot. He can play pick and roll. He can pass the ball off of drives. Again, playmaking. He does it. Eli Casanillo, also a guard. Playmaking. He also ran some pick and roll in the Ball Out Sports competition. Again, addressing that need. And that's what NU did. It's been so underrated that, no big level recruits here, no high level recruits aside from Humamoy, but they've strengthened their team just basically by adding bits and pieces, and I think they can easily challenge again for top two. I think easily challenge again. I mean, Ateneo UP, you better watch out because I think this NU team is pretty dangerous. Once all of these players can get up to speed, once they can run their system, be more efficient on offense, especially in the clutch minutes, I think NU is super underrated. They've recruited pretty well.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maui.
yeah, I
Maui.
think si Gab brought up really good points. To be honest, it's probably gonna be somebody from NU. Uh, Humamo is hype, but these other players are MVPs also. LA Cancinillo was si Safi Jr.'s MVP. Leonard Santiago was a UCBL MVP. He's the brother of the Santiago sisters from NU volleyball. So probably some of these guys will make an impact. When you talk about Ateneo, when you talk about first Adamson, you're talking about one player that probably wouldn't make that much of an impact, in my opinion. When you talk about Ateneo, on the other hand, it's pretty hard to know which players will go in, as we mentioned throughout the episode. To be honest, from the 13 players that Ateneo got, it's probably gonna be Mason Amos and probably Opena and Bongo who will make it. But right now, when you talk about underrated, if I mention somebody from Ateneo, I might mention somebody that wouldn't even be in the season 86 lineup. But so it's probably gonna be somebody from NU. It's probably gonna be one of those players that would be able to create. As Jab mentioned, they addressed one of their biggest needs this coming season. It was shown last year that when the going gets tough, they'll just go to one
Keep
player,
Keep
Kian
Baklaan.
Baklaan. Now they have multiple playmakers, so we'll see which one of these playmakers will probably be. They'll probably get one or two of these guys will probably get significant minutes. Uh, Gab is very high with Jumamoy. I am also very high. I think that he has the ability to probably play the shooting guard position also, given that he's also athletic, long, and he rebounds the ball very well. So we'll see if Coach Nash played Steve Nash and Baklan at the same time.
Coach
Will
Jeff
probably
Napa.
sorry,
Jeff
Coach
Napa.
Jeff.
Jeff Napa for NU played those two at the same time. We'll probably also see him. And also, some of these other players will have to make an impact. And yes, I also agree with Gab. I think NU is one of the top contenders for next season because they have an intact lineup. They have a great coach. Jeff Napa is very good. We saw that last season. Now he has another season under his belt. All the players got significant experience sa Final Four, and they also addressed their need this coming season. So let's see. I think they would probably challenge for the top two slots.
I think we'll all agree, no, even the listeners. Can we just say NU in general is an underrated team? I think even Coach Jeff Napa does not get enough credit for what he has done, diba? I've talked about this in previous episodes of the podcast. The fact na nawala halos yung buong starting seven ng NU team, Coach Jeff Napa still made a very good contending team. I didn't think they made the final for the previous season, but last season they almost got the top two. Natalo lang sila nung last few games. But I think Coach Jeff is an underrated coach. Usually the spotlight is on Tab and Coach Gold, but I think Coach Jeff is up there. Same levels those guys. I think the NU team is also underrated, even like from last year. So really good points. Another underrated recruitment or class for NU. Um, if I were to pick lang an underrated player, I would the way I looked at this question was um I was going to pick Rafi Celis. Just because I feel like he's a really hardworking guy. He's like epitome for me of underrated, yung very hardworking, energy guy, really does, a little bit of everything. Also, I think he's underrated in the sense na he's teammates with Jared Bahay.
Yeah.
So all the spotlight was on the recruitment of Jared Bahay. A week later, we see sa news na Ateneo recruits his teammates, 'di ba? Parang Celis and ganyan. And I think he did well, 'di ba? Si Celis,
He was pretty good. He was pretty
one
good.
of the stars of his team, but the spotlight has always been on Bahay. So I pick him to be my underrated player just because of that. Hopefully he's out of Jared Bahay's spotlight. I think he'll do well, maybe not this season. I'm not
Can I
sure,
give a
but
runner-up pick for
long-term.
this question?
Go. End
Okay.
it with your runner-up pick.
My runner-up pick, he's not being talked about that much. Maybe because you people saw him already last offseason. But Joseph Obasa, I think he's getting pretty underrated here. I mean, I don't think he's underrated because people don't expect him to be Ange Kwame. Diba? He's replacing.
Sino bang Ange Kwame, di ba? Isa
Gab,
mo yung Ange Kwame.
Yung mga hindi Atenista, yun yung in-expect. Pero yung mga Atenista, tignan mo, come season time, they'll expect Obasa to be
Diba? He's gonna be pretty underrated. There are he's probably gonna get the ire of a lot of Ateneo fans, just like what Maui said, because he's not the same level defensively. But offensively, I think he's a lot better now than when Ange Kwame started his UAAP career. I think he's a lot more polished offensively. I think he has a better stroke than Ange, to be honest. Shooting stroke. And I think no one's talking about him because yun nga, people are parang they're convinced that okay, he's gonna be there, but he's not gonna be Ange Kwame. He's gonna be Joseph Obasa he's a step down of Ange Kwame. But I think he could potentially surprise. No, I think he's betting honestly pretty underrated. I think he's a big guy. He rebounds well, and I think offensively he's gonna contribute right on in automatically.
Yeah, he's so underrated. Hindi nga natin siya nasama sa list. Nakalimutan natin.
That's true. We forgot about Obasa of all people.
That's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you for listening. We went a little bit over time, but I hope you enjoyed that discussion. Next time, we're going to talk about the rest of the school. So I think we have
dalawa na lang.
Two more schools to talk about. LaSalle and UST. Watch out for that episode. Don't forget to comment down below. Ano yung mga picks nyo? Underrated, overrated? Who do you think is not gonna make the Ateneo team? Let us know. If we missed any player, comment down below. And then let us know sino yung mga players that you want us to talk about for LaSalle and UST, especially our UST and LaSalle fans. We know you're out there. Please let us know the recruits that you want us to look at because we're also not sure. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Would appreciate your help. Thank you. That's it for me. Say goodbye, Gab and Maui.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Subscribe, please.